Always wonder what it takes for someone to truly miss you. Not merely a fleeting thought, but also a strong need that keeps them thinking about you long after you have left the room. Allow me to send you back to a time when you felt that strong attraction towards someone. You most likely never even knew it, but they were masters in making you miss them. And today we'll divulge those secrets so you might behave. Imagine this: lately you came upon someone that piques your curiosity. Everything is straightforward. The link is obvious, and the talk flows naturally. But with time, something odd happens. You start to notice more their absence than their presence. At odd hours, you begin to wonder about them, mentally reenacting incidents, and await the next contact. What transpired? You are not by chance feeling this way. This person has most definitely embraced quiet but powerful methods that have lasted with you. Today we will be exploring the psychology and techniques behind making someone so completely absent from your life, unable to get you out of their brain. Before we start, make sure you press that subscribe button and thumbs up this video. Let's start. Chapter 1: The Power of Absence. Beginning with the first important principle, absence. Let us say that a reason has kept the phrase. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, enduring. Though it's about being conscious with your time and energy, it also relates to not only disappearing or working hard to get. Consider a story of two friends, Sarah and Jake. They used to hang about laughing, recollections and stories almost every day. But Jake soon came to see he was the one typically planning, setting up the hangouts and starting the conversations, until Sarah began to withdraw, so limiting her availability. Jake was unsure of exactly how much he missed their time together. Sarah simply became more picky about when and how she interacted with Jake. She did not vanish. This minor adjustment helped Jake value their times together even more. Practical tip: quality over quantity. The primary lesson here is to give quality first importance above mass. Spend time doing with someone notable. Take part enthusiastically, pay great attention, and plan events fit for remembering. Let those memories then find home in their brain. You give them chances to miss you by not being overly available. Chapter 2: The Art of Mystery. Next is the enigmatic component. Think on the last time someone truly captivated your eye. Maybe it was their erratic nature, or perhaps it was the way they suppressed exposing all about themselves at once. Whatever it was, that sense of mystery pulled you back again and again. Think of Alex, who posted every aspect of his life on social media. From his current whereabouts to his activities to his daily breakfast, his friends knew. Then there was Emily, a little more quiet. She shared peeks into her life and left just enough to have others guessing. People were leaning around Emily over time, Alex observed. They were always wondering what she was up to and eager to learn more. She captivated them. Emily could preserve an aura of mystery, so she was more fascinating and finally more missed when she was not there. Practical tip: keep some things to yourself. You don't have to reveal everything all at once. Share fragments of yourself over time so that others could eventually uncover the layers. This preserves the mystery and increases the longing. A small mystery helps to explain someone missing you. Chapter 3: The Value of Independence. Making someone miss you also depends much on proving that you have a life apart from theirs. Not only is independence desirable, it also is essential for a dynamic in which someone values your presence. Imagine Jenna always free for her lover, Mark. She was wherever he had called. She dropped everything anytime he wanted something. Mark started to treat Jenna as less than eventually, though. She was there always, hence he never had chance to miss her. Lisa, on the other hand, lived a busy life full of friends, hobbies, and passions. Mark had to suit her life, not take front stage in it. When Lisa was not around, Mark started thinking more about her. wondering what she was up to, and got thrilled about their next encounter. Her independence made Lisa more missed and more desirable. Practical tip: cultivate your own interests. Stress your own aspirations, hobbies, and friendships to help you to develop your sense of independence. This not only makes you more interesting, but also gives the other person time to miss you while you're away. Live your best life. Chapter 4. The impact of leaving on a high note. Let's talk about endings. More especially, the degree of someone missing you will depend much on how you leave a scene. Everybody has had an incredible date, a fantastic conversation, or a special time spent with someone. Still, the way things turn out most often defines them. Take Sam, who, out of habit, routinely remained past his welcome. Sam would wait until events get unpleasant or dull, at a party, in a conversation, or even in a relationship. Claire, on the other hand, was always sure of her leaving time. She was skilled in ending a conversation or event just as it was about heeding to leaving everyone desiring more. Over time, people began to connect Sam with too much and Claire with not enough. Whose they missed more while they weren't around? Exactly, Claire. Practical tip: leave them wanting more. Know when to call off an outing, a conversation, even a text message. Stopping on a high note makes a very good positive impression and excites the other person for the next interaction. Chapter 5. The role of emotional connection. At last, let us investigate the emotional link. Though every method we have discussed is successful, none of them will have the expected effect without a deep emotional connection. People miss those who enable them to be noticed, heard, and respected. Think on the friendship between Mia and Zoe. Mia was consistently present for Zoe in emotional as much as physical aspects. She was there to listen. She remembered the little details, even her regular coffee order. Zoe needed to talk. Mia, but also knew when to let Zoe negotiate her own existence. She occupied her room, not only because of the fun times they had, but also because of the emotional support and understanding Mia gave into her life. Zoe really missed her when Mia was not around. Zoe's desire for Mia's company sprang from an emotional connection. Practical tip: build genuine emotional bonds. Establishing a strong emotional connection will need your being present, attentive, and empathetic nature. Emotionally close to you, someone is far more likely to miss you when you are away. Chapter 6. The subtle art of fluctuating interest. Among the most remarkable aspects of human thinking is the way we value what we regard to be rare or irregular. It is a bit of a paradox. Different attention generates a dynamic whereby their presence becomes more desirable. Imagine a relationship in which one person is constantly available and exhibits the same degree of interest. The constancy over time can lead to complacency. Still, it can have a big influence if attention moves in a natural flow of life, rather than in a manipulative one. Think of Anna and Lucas as your paradigm. Originally consoling for Lucas, Anna was also always available and responsive, but gradually Lucas began to ignore her constant presence. But Lucas began to miss Anna more since he saw she would sometimes react more slowly or was not always available. Her shifting availability encouraged him to appreciate the hours she spent with him. Practical tip: balance interest with healthy distance. It's about balancing your enthusiasm with healthy quantities of freedom. Not about games. When you are together, engage wholeheartedly. Then let natural gaps exist. This generates a rhythm that keeps the relationship alive and raises your value in it. Chapter 7. The importance of self-respect and boundaries. Any relationship depends much on self-respect and boundaries. Respect yourself and set acceptable limits to effectively express your value of time and effort, and hence should others. Consider Rachel. who was in a relationship with someone who rarely gave her top attention. She would find herself waiting almost for him to find time for her, so underappreciated. At last, Rachel decided to set firm boundaries, telling her boyfriend her time was valuable and she wouldn't be willingly available last minute. Her partner came to recognize he had been undervaluing her depending on her behavior. Rachel began to miss her presence and valued her more when she wasn't immediately quickly accessible. The boundaries Rachel set helped her to regain self-respect, which her partner found increasingly valuable. Practical tip: establish and maintain boundaries. Specify exactly in a relationship what you will and won't accept. This not only maintains your emotional wellness, but also makes your presence more valuable among others. When they realize your time and effort are not to be taken for granted. Chapter 8: The Psychology of Reverse Psychology. One could gently apply reverse psychology to inspire in someone the need to seek you. It's about realizing, not about manipulation. How often human nature drives us to yearn for what seems just out of reach. Tell someone constantly how much you want to spend time with them, for example, and at last it could feel like pressure. But if you say on occasion, you have other responsibilities or are busy, their interest could be sparked. They can start to wonder why you are less available, which would lead to greater missing of you. Think of the David and Lily story. David was always thrilled to see Lily, often organizing events and wishing he could spend as much time with her as practical. Lily loved David, but his constant presence started to overwhelm her. As David started focusing more on his own life, picking up new interests and spending time with other friends, Lily found herself missing him and beginning more frequent correspondence. Practical tip: use reverse psychology with care. Mostly, reverse psychology is best done naturally. Let your life and interest lead you to moments when you are not always reachable instead of imposing it. This naturally distances someone and can lead to additional missed meetings with you. Chapter 9: The Subconscious Impact of Scent and Memory Triggers. Strong tools include memory, and our senses especially. Smell have a major influence on our recall of events and people. Have you ever smelled a particular cologne or scent and immediately began to envision someone? That is sense power to set off memory. In partnerships, one could find advantage in scent. Long after you're gone, these minor cues, from a distinctive perfume to cologne to even the smell of your shampoo, can linger in someone's memories. Think about Sophia, who usually wore a smell her lover Michael loved. Whether it was by someone else wearing it or just a fortuitous encounter, Michael's scent immediately reminded Sophia. Though they were apart, Michael missed her because of that scent. Practical tip: create a signature scent or memory trigger. Choose a scent or a small odd conduct that might act as a vague memory of you. This could be anything from a particular smell to a different way of welcoming someone. Little details have great, long-lasting consequences. Chapter 10: The Element of Surprise and Spontaneity. From spontaneity, a connection can become more interesting. Consequently, your absence is more missed and remembered. People like surprises, especially if they are pleasant and unexpected. Imagine Clara, naturally gifted for the unannounced. Whether she was planning a surprise date, writing a nice note, or just showing up with their favorite coffee, Clara kept things exciting and fresh. Her partner, Tom, loved this about her and missed those unforeseen events that improved his day when she was away. Tom was kept on alert by Clara's irregular actions, which also made her absence more clear. Practical tip: add a touch of spontaneity. Though you should not be spontaneous all the time, throwing occasional surprises here and there will assist to make your contacts unique. It keeps the relationship strong and makes people miss the excitement you provide. Chapter 11: Communication. Less is sometimes more. In our digital age, texts, calls, and social media help us remain always connected. Less communication, meanwhile, can sometimes have more of an impact. Not always available lets the other person miss you free will. Think about Jane and Robert, for example. Jane answered Robert's texts always, quickly, often, in less than a few seconds. Robert prized this, but it also began to be something he expected. One day, Jane decided to back off and not be as immediately accessible. She was not playing games. She was just thinking about her own life. Robert was anxious for her answers and shocked to find he missed their usual talks. The frequency of communication changed helped Robert to appreciate their conversations even more. Practical tip: be mindful of your communication habits. Steer clear of having to answer immediately under pressure. Let pauses in a conversation to be normal. When your messages do arrive, this helps to create expectation and raises their worth. Chapter 12. The Power of Positive Reinforcement. At last, never undervalue the need of positive reinforcement. Tell someone you value your relationship, more or miss them depending on their actions allowing you to do so. Positive reinforcement helps you to encourage the kind of behavior you prefer to see more of. John, for example, made sure Emma, his partner, understood how much she appreciated it when he saw she went out of her way to make their time unforgettable. Emma's value was reinforced by John's compliments, therefore improving their relationship. John so discovered that he was missing those specific occasions considerably more when Emma was not around. Practical tip: reinforce what you value. Tell someone you miss them or find value in their activities for your relationship. This strengthens the bond and inspires more of that kind of behavior, therefore enhancing your value to each other. Chapter 13. Integrating strategies into daily life. One thing is knowing the theory behind these approaches. Nonetheless, applying them in a way that feels natural and real is really vital. You want to prevent seeming as dishonest or purposeful. Making these methods second nature to you can assist you to draw people in and leave a lasting impression. Let's break out how you might include each one of these approaches into your everyday interactions. 1. Absence and present. Evaluate first your relative availability to other people right now. Are you consistently available, or do you let others miss you? Start by creating minor absences. That example, by not reacting immediately to messages, or by being less available for last-minute plans. Spend this time really focusing on yourself. When you do return, your contacts will have new vigor and presence. 2. Dealing with mystery. Think about the extent of your exposing of oneself. Do you lead any private life? If you find you are an open book, try limiting some details. Let people over time discover several aspects of your personality. This is letting a curiosity flourish instead of covering anything. 3. Independence is a core value. Think on how nicely your contacts balance. Are you unnecessarily depending on someone else for your happiness? Or do you have a strong sense of self? Plan weekly time for your personal interests and activities first. This not only makes you more fascinating, but also emphasizes how one person defines your universe. 4th, taking off on a high note. See how you end chats, whether a phone call, a date, even a text conversation. Try to leave things on a positive, high-energy note. This might be a joke, a farewell before things fade out, or a compliment. People will start to identify you with nice emotions over time and be more prone to miss your presence. 5. Emotional bonds. To help you to improve your emotional bonds, become more present and compassionate. Pay closer attention to truly understanding someone you are with than to just waiting for your turn to speak. Indeed, people will miss these closer bonds while you are not there. And 6, modifying interest and spontaneity. Bring some variation into your work. Usually running the same processes, change things. This might be as simple as suggesting a note writing or unexpected vacation. Little surprises can really keep relationships fascinating and unforgettable. 7, sense and memory triggers. If you have a distinctive scent, wear it often so it begins to be identified with you. On the other hand, take into account other small, odd behaviors individuals could find relevant. These little details could make all the difference in your becoming unforgettable. 8, boundaries and positive reinforcement. At last, think about how you define your own boundaries and how you encourage positive behavior in others. By respecting yourself and helping the activities you find important, you build harmonic and fulfilling relationships. Chapter 14. Overcoming common challenges. Starting to apply these methods could cause some challenges. One should be aware of these likely difficulties and know how to negotiate them. 1. Anxiety around rejection. One common fear is that should one retreat or isolate herself, the other person might lose interest. While this anxiety is natural, remember that the basis of relationships is mutual respect. Should someone show no interest in you since you are not constantly reachable, it suggests that the relationship could not have been as strong as you thought. Trust the process. Understand that meaningful relationships will blossom even across some distance. 2. Managing originality and strategy. Another challenge is juggling being strategic with being honest. The secret is to let these strategies enhance rather than change you. They should be natural outgrowth of your personality, not prescribed behavior. Should something not feel right, adapt it to your taste. 3. Unlike predictability, consistency. One also has to figure the ideal balance between consistency and predictability. While in relationships consistency is crucial, predictability could lead to complacency. Try to be constantly present and consistent even if you keep some surprise in your connections to keep interest. 4th, retaining constraints. Sometimes establishing limits leads to confrontation, especially if the other person is not used to them. In your letters, be patient and clear. Talk of limitations as about respect for the other person as well as for yourself. Over time, they will come to appreciate the clarity. An organization that confines offer the connection. Chapter 15. The long-term impact of these strategies. As you continue to apply these strategies, people will react differently to you. More importantly, they will cherish your time, presence, and really miss you when you are not around. These changes won't happen overnight, but with tenacity, they will have long-lasting effects on your relationships. Over long terms, this is what one should expect. One should begin with stronger links. If you focus on quality interactions and become close to one another emotionally, your relationships will get more important. People will come to see you as someone who improves their life. Hence, they will miss you when you're not around. Improved honor. Others will value your clarity of priorities, an emphasis on your own needs, as most important. They will be more prone to treat you with the dignity you so deserve, as they will realize how valuable your time is. 3. Increased self-worth. Observing the advantages of these strategies will automatically increase your value. You will realize that your value does not depend on your being constantly available or unreasonably flexible. Your life will attract even more positive alliances from your growing confidence. 4th, improved daily content. These approaches eventually enable you to construct a life you love living, not merely about making others miss you. If you focus on your own passions, preserve your independence, and build strong relationships, your daily life will be more fulfilling. We have now covered a broad range of methods meant to help you sense someone who would sorely miss you. from studying the subtle psychology of human contacts to regulating the power of absence. Building mystery and keeping your independence, these ideas, applied deliberately, will improve your relationships. The secret is to act very purposefully, emphasizing excellent relationships, maintaining your self-respect, and applying elements of surprise and mystery will assist you to leave a lasting impression that makes others think of you long after you have gone. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.